Hey guys, Wild for Games here for you, and today I'm actually going to do my first painting tutorial. I get asked all the time when I'm on Twitch if I can show people how to start a painting. And the best way to start is actually as simple as it sounds, by blending colors. And the best way to blend colors is playing around with a sky. So let's work over towards our canvas here, and I'm going to show you how to start with the most basic sky, and we might even throw in one or two clouds. Let's see how it goes. Alright, I hope you're ready to paint. I went ahead and already put magic white all over my canvas. You can see it's all wet, slick, and ready to go with my fingers all in there. So I'm going to actually practice on canvas paper. There's no point in me wasting a canvas for something I'm just going to have fun and play around with. I recommend if you guys have canvas paper and you're trying to experiment or you're just practicing, try to use it because it only costs about $1.25 per sheet, as where a canvas can cost a couple of bucks. So go ahead and try to get yourself a nice sheet of canvas paper. I just masking tape it to a piece of flat cardboard, and then I bring down my easel to secure it tightly so that way I can have my fun with it and beat on it real good with my paintbrush if I need to. So we're going to start off with 3 colors. So the colors I'm going to use for my painting are cadmium yellow, alizarin crimson, and phthalo blue. I already went ahead and put titanium white out for our clouds, but we'll get to that later. So this is the lightest value, medium value, and dark value. So you always want to start with your lightest value and work your way up, because if you start with your blue is going to overpower the rest of your colors. So let's go ahead and grab a 1-inch brush and start with our cadmium yellow. Just go ahead and pull it out. I'll be over here to the side so you guys can see it a little bit better. And we're going to get a nice even distribution. Make sure you pull that paint nice and through on the bristles, and go ahead and tap it in there to get a nice even distribution. And so what we're going to do is we have to pick a spot where we want to put our brightest color of our light source coming from. Try to do the rule of thirds. If you divided this into 3 pieces, generally something on the left side or the right side is going to be more aesthetically pleasing. Since I'm right-handed, I'm just going to go ahead and put my light source over here, and all we're going to do is just do a crisscross shape, and we're just going to work out from that initial crisscross in a circle. And we're going to take this color as far out as we can on the paintbrush and canvas here until it starts to have a nice, beautiful, natural gradient. And the reason we get this cool gradient is because we already have the magic white underneath. So I'm just going to grab just a tiny bit more of the yellow, just a tiny bit more. Make sure you tap to get even coating. And I'm just going to make this light source a bit brighter in here. So all I'm just going to do is just add a little more pigment of my paint. You don't have to do this step if you don't want to. I just like a bigger light source in this area. There we go. And with my dirty brush, I'm going to go straight into my alizarin crimson here. So I'm just going to pull this color down just like that. Now the red's going to overpower it, but it's going to give it a little bit of a orange hint to it. So pull that color down and tap it into the bristles thusly. That way we get a nice even distribution of color in there. We're going to take our paintbrush and we have to decide of where we want. I'm going to take my red on the outside and start pushing it that way. And I might even add a little bit down here. But my strongest point I'm going to put in here, and I'm going to go around in an outline in a sense. And again, I'm just continuing this cross strokes. Just continuing this cross stroke. I'm not pushing too hard, about medium strength, and I'm going to pull it under here, have this nice fade of color come up underneath just for fun. And I'm going to pull this red pretty far out here. I'm going to bring it down in this corner and have a nice fade go down in there. And you can see the yellow and the red have combined to make this beautiful honey orange color. I'm going to go back and load up here one more time, and I'm going to keep the paint basically on just this end of the bristles. I'm going to come through and pull and tap. So load up here and just put in the boldness of our color. And this is just going to add to the little bit of separation in here. Load up one more time. Just want darker corners. I like beautiful dark corners. And don't worry if it's blobby. Don't worry if it's blobby. We're going to come in here and fix this in a moment with a nice 2-inch brush. We just want to create a nice, beautiful effect. Same with the dirty brush. We're going to continue with it. And we're gonna go into our blue. Our blue is very strong, so it only takes a little bit of paint. Only a little bit of paint. It's easier to build up on the densities of colors because you're gonna have a really hard time if you take too much paint right off in the beginning. And make sure you tap your brush in there. That's gonna get you even coating throughout your paintbrush there. So here you can see all the beautiful paint we have in here, and we're gonna work in this corner and down. Now this blue is very strong, so as we pull it down, it's gonna melt with these red colors and the yellow colors that we have in here, and it's gonna start making a nice pretty violet. So be careful with how much blue you have in here because it's very strong color. So let's go ahead and pull this down. Make sure we get a nice coating up here, and I'm just gonna start letting this fade all over into here, and maybe even pull a little of this blue down into here, create a nice little accent. And I'm just putting in the basic idea, maybe a little goes over there and comes down, and maybe I come back and reload just with a little bit, just with the corner of my brush, and maybe I'm just gonna put some right in here, and we'll see how that fades into our ideas. I'm gonna come back and tap just a tiny bit, just got a little bit of paint right there on the corner. And I'm gonna come in here and darken this corner because you wanna create a little bit of a vignette to bring your eye towards the center of the painting. And there we go, there's the basic idea for the foundation of our sky. Now you can play around with this, move some colors around. You could even introduce a little bit of white to make that a brighter spot if you wanted to. But we did that with all one brush and it remained dirty throughout the whole thing. We didn't even have to clean it, but we're gonna clean it now because we're gonna need it for another process. Or if you wanted to clean it and you want to put a little white in there, all you do is just crisscross and then blend that white out if you wanted kind of like a little halo effect. All right, now that we got all of our colors set out in the way that we want them, and we got our yellows going to our reds, so we're gonna have a nice orange, and then our reds to our blues, so we're gonna create a nice purple in between here. We gotta start blending in our colors to look satiny smooth. So we're gonna take a nice 2-inch brush, just go ahead and beat it out on your easel to get all of these bristles nice and wide and open. And we're gonna start doing the same strokes. We're gonna do our cross strokes, but we're gonna do our yellow side first and then work out towards the red, do the combination of the red there, and then work out towards the blue, and then work on the purple, and then straight out to the edge of the canvas there. So all we're gonna do is just literally crisscross this, and this is gonna make all of that color velvety smooth. So we're just gonna pull that color and we're gonna work out to the next strongest color here, which is our red. So I'm gonna go right down in here, and all I'm doing is, you can just see, it's just crisscrossing. The longer you stay here, for example, if I stay down this corner and I just sit here and blend, you're just gonna see this fade into just a beautiful, beautiful sherbety peach color here. So that way you can direct your eye with how hard you actually do on the paintbrush. So the more you blend, the more everything's gonna fade. If you don't blend as much, you're gonna have a little more movement in your sky. Don't be afraid if you grab some colors here, because that's what creates the transitions. And it's gonna happen when you start reaching into these stronger colors in here. So now that we've got a dirty brush with all these colors in here, we don't want to work it towards our yellow. So we're going to clean this off really quick. Now you guys don't get to see it, but I have a little bucket down here that I clean everything in. So with a clean, dry 2-inch brush, make sure you wipe it off in a nice, clean paper towel. So take your 2-inch brush and your paper towel, and make sure you get it really, really clean. Really clean. The best way is pinch and wipe and pull. That gets off all that excess color in there. So with our clean 2-inch brush, we're gonna come in here and we're just gonna start fading these colors very softly to clean up any mistakes that we had in here. And this is just a very soft, delicate touch. Let's go down and blend here. We'll get a little bit of the green into here. Just a tiny bit though. And there we go. So now we're gonna go up and across. So I'm just gonna start blending this in, take out all these harsh brush strokes in here. Very harsh brush strokes. I'm just gonna pull a little of this over just like that. Get that blue to fade into that red so that way I can get a nice little purple line in here. Oh, there we go. Look at that. and just soften any part you want. Just soften it. And look how perfect of a sky we got there. We got bold colors, yellow, oranges, reds, purples, light blues, dark blues. There's even whites cascaded in there. And that's how you get a nice, beautiful sky without any effort. Now, feel free to choose any 3 colors you want. Just make sure you work from a lighter color to a medium color to a darker color. You can even do the reverse. Just keep the same theory. And you can even do 2 colors. You don't have to do 3. You can do 4, you can do 5, you can do 6, you can do 174. It's completely up to you. Just keep the same idea going. But this is the best way to start with a basic sky. And you can have so much fun learning to blend all of these colors. Now, if you wanted to do a cloud, I'm gonna go ahead and take a little bit of this white. I'm gonna cut it in half and put it right here. If you want to do clouds, I recommend doing 2 types of clouds. Do a background cloud, and all you need to do a background cloud is we're just gonna grab a little bit of this red, maybe even some of this yellow. We'll just make it so it gets a little bit of an orangey color and a little red and color faded in the background. And then we're gonna have this to be straight white. So this is gonna be our background color right here. We're just gonna let these just mesh in here really quick. There we go. Maybe even add just a tiny more yellow since we have it on here. There we go. And all we're gonna do is we're just gonna take a little bit of this paint right here. If you guys need help with clouds, I will put a link in the tutorial here for you. And make sure you pull it through. I've got a little bit of a hair on here, which is fine. Just push that down. It's a piece of little piece of lint that got in there. And wiggle your brush through. Now you want to have your paintbrush kind of low, so that way all these bristles pick up the paint. And when you wiggle it, it helps push that paint down to the tip of the paintbrush there. So get all that paint, get in there and load it. And there we go. So we've got this really nice peachy color in here. And you have to decide where your cloud's gonna be. Generally, I like to put most of my clouds starting in my light and then working out to my darker colors, because if you start over here, it's gonna be very contaminated. Now you can do that, but to start, I'd recommend putting a cloud kind of over in this yellow-red area, because it's gonna be easier for you. And if you guys haven't learned how to do a cloud, go ahead and take a look at the link in the description below, or maybe I'll put it up here in the top right corner, whichever is easiest for you. But we're just gonna come up here and attack our canvas and start doing small circles. Small circles. And we're just gonna outline our cloud here and just have a little bit of fun. Grab a little more paint. And I'm gonna put just a little bit of an accent down here and pull that cloud down, leave some gap, maybe even come down right in there. There we go. Well, let's fill in that corner just for fun. There we go, and there's the beginning shape to our cloud. Now, if you guys have never done a cloud, we're gonna take our 2-inch brush here, and we're just gonna use the top portion of these bristles, just these top 1/4 portion of these bristles. And we're gonna come into the canvas and tip our paintbrush up so that way it gets it. And we're gonna start with our yellow and then work to our red side, because we don't wanna contaminate our red to our yellow. So we're gonna start down here at the bottom. So we're just gonna come in here and do some small circles, just touching the very bottom of our cloud. And we can pull this cloud over to the left, to the right, down, or even slightly up if we want to. But we want to make sure we don't ruin the crown, which is the top of this cloud, because that's what's going to create the nice effect that it's whipping through the sky with these huge pillowy tops that are just going to look gorgeous. So now that we did our yellow, let's work up to our red. And I'm just doing small circles in here. The longer you put your circle here and fade it, the more it's going to fade in the background, which could be perfect for a background cloud. If you have to go back to your yellow, what I recommend is flipping over your paintbrush, turning it about 15 degrees up, and come back down here. Maybe you want to fade it just a tiny bit more. There you go. That looks great. That looks great. Now what we're going to do is we're going to clean this off, because we don't want to contaminate our canvas. So we're going to take our paint and just wipe it off just like that. So that way our paintbrush is all pretty clean. You can even grip and pull it through. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna blend, since this is background cloud, I wanna push that cloud back. And to do that, I'm gonna go on the very bottom of it and start softening these bases. Just softening these bases. And it's okay if this cloud color comes in front of my yellow, because it is laying on top of it. Barely. There we go. And now we're going to come up in here and give it a nice lift. Very gingerly come up and across. And I'm just giving it a nice little lift. The more you lift, the more the cloud's going to fade out too. So be careful, because you could lift it completely away. That thing will get away from you very quickly, very quickly. Very soft. And don't feel like you have to go in all the same direction. You can maybe even flip the cloud a little bit this way. The wind is free, so let it be free. There we go. I'm just gonna put a few more lifts right in there. And if you pull some of your paint down here, don't be worried about it. Don't be worried about it. Take your paper towel, take off the excess paint just like that, and we're gonna come down here and we're just gonna softly blend this guy down and out. There we go. Look how perfect that is. Now to fix all these paintbrush strokes, we're gonna work our way from the outside of the canvas in. Gingerly feather this in. Now we worked really hard to create this cloud, so we wanna make sure we keep it there. And to do that, we gotta fade in. Fade and feather this little cloud in very gingerly. Barely any of your bristles are touching. You'll just hear it kind of zip by really quickly. There we go. And there you got your first background cloud, and look how perfect it is. And you can add a few things to this. You can add little white highlights on it if you want to. So it looks like sun's kind of coming through, but that's a little more of an advanced technique, which I can maybe show you at another time. If you guys like me to show you that, feel free to leave a comment in the description below, and I'll be more than happy to see if I can fit that in. But let me show you how to do a white cloud. We're gonna bring a white cloud right across and in front of this. We're gonna work it from the blue, and it's gonna stand out a lot because it's on a contrasting color, but it's gonna get contaminated a lot. So we're gonna work our cloud all the way across here. So with our white color here, what you might wanna do is just add a tiny, tiny drop of paint thinner to this if nothing's sticking. What I like to do if I know something's gonna get contaminated, I'll probably do my blue end last. I will start around here where I can work with this purple red color and work over my yellow. Or you can work from your yellow and across. So I'm gonna start right around here, and I'm gonna slowly start fading this way and a little that way. Let's continue towards our white side, or sorry, towards our yellow side, and let's just bring this cloud just right in there. And that way it just kicks right across. And then we're gonna continue them up. So again, just remember, small circles. I'm just worrying about the outside edge of my cloud, and that's all. And as you can see, my paintbrush got contaminated there with all this blue color. And I wanna add a little more white in there, but to do that, I have to pull out all this color. So go ahead and take your paper towel and fold it and just pull it right through and just eliminate all of that blue color. Now, if you have too much still staining in here, you can go ahead and clean it out in your paint thinner if you need to, but this blue is not gonna make too much of a problem for me since I'm gonna continue right here. But feel free to clean it if you need to. Now we're gonna repeat the same process with a 2-inch brush. Again, we're gonna use the top portion, top 1/4 of our paintbrush here, and do small circles. And we're gonna work from our yellow to our red to our blues. So we're gonna come down here, since this cloud is in front of that cloud, I want it to feel like it's gonna be closer. And the way to make it feel closer is by giving it a little more detail. So I'm not gonna push as hard on my circular motions. I'm gonna come in here and very diligently give it some small circles. That way it's got a little more texture to it, and it's gonna feel like it's closer. So I'm just gonna do very, very soft circles. So remember to do that if you're starting to come closer with your clouds. They're gonna start to have a little more detail in them compared to the very far background clouds. So work through our yellow to our red. Remember, don't eliminate the top portion of the cloud because that's our nice, beautiful crown that we're gonna make. There we go. These are looking awesome. These are looking perfect. And just continue that. And since I'm over here at the edge and I want my eye to be drawn towards the center, I'm actually gonna push fairly hard in here to make this look like it dissipates out into nothing down here. So I'm just gonna do it right there on the blue and this top corner there, because I don't want a lot of eye concentration on it over there. But that's just my own personal preference. Beat out the extra color. Make sure you get a lot of that blue out, because we're gonna give it a nice lift from over here. Maybe we'll take a little, there's a little blue here, so let's just fade it into the red a little bit. That'll create our nice, beautiful purple. There we go. And we're gonna come down here and we're gonna just fade this in just a tiny bit for myself. Look at that. Very lightly since this cloud's in front of that cloud. There we go. And we're gonna even wipe the paintbrush off one more time. We're gonna give it a nice little lift, and I'm gonna take my cloud that way. Very lightly, since this cloud is in front of the other cloud. There we go, and don't worry if you get blobs. I showed you guys in another tutorial what to do with blobs and if you want to get rid of them, but I actually like them because they look like light is cascading across certain parts of my cloud, and I think it looks just absolutely perfect. There we go, I'm gonna wipe off just my paint a little bit. There we go, look at that. That looks so good. Now, if you need to, you can push this cloud just a tiny bit back, or if you need to soften up, we can just come across here very lightly. Very lightly. Maybe I want to push this blue cloud up back a little bit. There we go. Give it a little lift again. There we go. I don't want to fade this corner down because I don't want my eye to be drawn to it. I'm just doing some cross strokes. That's it. There we go. And from here, we're just going to fade our paint in. Fade this cloud in is what I mean, sorry. Fade and feathered in. This works out all the excess paint strokes. So that way they're all going in one horizontal direction. If you get any globs, just wipe it off in your paintbrush there. And that's it. That's very easy. And you can repeat this process all the way down and across. And you can do multiple layers, do multiple colors of clouds, but I just want to show you how the easiest way to start blending colors all the way across the entire canvas and then start layering clouds on here. And feel free to practice and have fun. Use different colors, introduce different colors to all your clouds. You can do yellow into a cloud, purple into a cloud, blue into a cloud, green into a cloud. They all look fabulous. Well, I hope you guys liked this first painting lesson. It was kind of fun to do. I just want to show you how to do the basic blending of colors, and that'll create a sky, and then how to make some clouds with some just general strokes and adding colors into those. And you can make a whole painting of just clouds and sky, which I recommend because it's actually one of the funnest things to do. And it's the best part is it's not frustrating because it's kind of, you can't make any big mistakes. And if you do make big mistakes, they're easy to correct. You can just scrape them off, blend the base color underneath, and you're good to go again. So if you guys enjoyed this, let me know. Put a nice thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe. If you guys do paint anything, feel free to show me. I love looking at them. Feel free to follow me on Twitter @Wild4Games, or send me a picture on Instagram @Wild4Games. I love looking at all the things you guys create out there. It's really kind of inspiring to me to keep going and doing these things. So hopefully these are really helpful. If you guys have any questions or concerns, feel free to send a message to me or in the comment below. If you guys want to buy any supplies, you can also see those in the comments below of the supplies I use to create all my paintings. I will see you guys in the next painting tutorial next time, and perhaps let me know what you would like me to show you how to paint. Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye.